Hey, girl, hurt no more.
Hey.
Ladies, hello. How are y'all doing? Y'all come on in the room. Come on in the room. We are ready to have some discussions. We're ready to have some great conversations. Check out this chat. Last week, really, we were lit last week. And so let's see what this week brings us. So, ladies, come on, join the room when you get in, like it, share it. Don't be selfish. Let your girlfriends know. Text your friends. Hey, girl, it's Girl Hurt No More night. Let's get online. We know we might have forgot it was Monday, but we are here and we are ready to talk with you tonight. Ladies, how are y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Alexia just ran in. She literally just ran in.
Good.
Just dropped in the green room. You made it.
I made it. Yeah, I'm ready.
You're here. She's ready. Okay.
I'm not in the car.
Wonderful. Okay, I like it. I like it. We have Amber, the educator, with us tonight. We have Aisha Wright doing it the right way with us tonight. And so we are going to jump in this. Again, ladies, please like it, share it, and we need you to join in that chat. Okay. So we want more ladies to join us tonight and have some great conversations with us. Ladies, we are on Girl, No More Disobedience. That's where we're on tonight. And how many more chapters we got in this book? One more. We got one more. So we got one last week. Okay. So we've got to make sure we are digging into the book. And I'm going to say, if you are joining us tonight and you had some questions, even if it was questions from last week's reading, or you had some questions because you read ahead and you were prepared for tonight, throw it in the chat box. Okay. That's what these sessions are for. It's really to get some clarity, get some understanding so that we all are on the same page and we know what God is calling us to do. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. Ladies, y'all feel all right? Y'all ready? We
Yes,
good?
ma'am.
All right. Let's jump right on in. And so this section of the book, this chapter of the book, it starts with Luke 5, 36 through 39. And I just gave us the little theme of new. Y'all remember T.I.'s movie? What is it called? I love that movie though. ATL and new because I'm all about the new. Okay, and so new versus the old. Okay, that's something to think about. And so I'm just gonna read these couple of lines so that it can kind of create this conversation and give us this background. So Luke 5, 36 through 39, it says, Then Jesus gave them this illustration. No one tears a piece of cloth from a new garment and uses it to patch an old garment. For then the new garment would be ruined, and the new patch wouldn't even match the old garment. And not one puts new wine into old wine skins, for the new wine will burst the wine skins, spilling the wine and ruining the skins. New wine must be stored in new wine skins. But now one who drinks the old wine seems to want the new wine. The old is just fine, they said. All right, let's break this thing down. Wait a minute. We're talking about no more disobedience. And I just started it off with this scripture with you can't put new wine in old wine skins. And it doesn't even make sense to cut from a new, brand new garment to fix an old garment. What are we thinking that means? Especially when it comes to being disobedient. What y'all think that means? I always got to give them a minute, y'all. Y'all know how they do. Nobody want to talk first. Go ahead. What y'all think that means? Can't put old wine or new wine in old wine skins. It'll bust. That's what it says. It'll ruin it. It'll bust. What does that mean?
Y'all go ahead. Alexa.
Wait, is she on mute? Lex, we can't hear you.
Sorry. For me, I always think about the putting new wine in old wine skins. Like we want our old ways to work for us in our new situation. And, if we believe that God is doing a new things, we have been transformed, our old ways and our old thoughts are not going to work. we can't fully walk in the newness if we're still holding on to our old patterns, our old habits, our old thought processes. Um, I, as I am dating, not
Okay.
trying to hold my new partner to standards that I had for my old partners. And um, just,
Mm.
one thing I have to keep reminding myself, if this is a new thing, if I want something different out of this relationship, it's not going
Mhm.
to feel like something I'm familiar with. Um,
Mm.
Ooh,
and
that's good right there.
the people on the Twitter, counselors say when you're looking for familiar patterns, that's your trauma. You're looking for your trauma bonds in people because you're trying to
Oh,
find those familiar things.
the trauma
So,
bonds.
yes, so
Mm.
it's heavy, but you cannot. God can't do a new thing in you if you're always trying to find the familiarity in the oldness. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's
That's
hard.
good. That's good. I talk about in the book, I started off with, a touchy subject. We were ordained under my father and Damien and I, and we were working in ministry. But God called us to something a little bit different than my father's ministry, and so it was very difficult. We tried to put that new kind of millennial feel into a traditional setting. It did not work. It did not work, and it's
Mm.
no fault of anyone's, other than if God is trying to birth something new in you. Why? Because you're familiar, right? That's what you just said. You're familiar. You're just trying to make this thing fit. I just, and when God is telling you, I didn't call it to fit in that thing. I
Mhm.
called you to do something
To
over
do a
here,
new thing. Mhm.
the new thing. And that's what we did. We started Commissioned by Christ Outreach Church. We had a church, all church sessions going on in Jacksonville. Then when we moved to Pensacola, it carried on there. And so we did have a ministry for a while, but it was kind of like a training ground preparing us for what God would call us to do later on. But it does mean you cannot, now not saying the old way, there are some ways, some traditional ways that I believe that we still should carry on. But when there's a new thing God is birthing, you can't put that in something old. It's just going to be ruined. It's going to be old. And so that is something that we are starting to talk about now. You've got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mm.
You've got to be comfortable with, if God is calling you out of something and you're not familiar with it, stepping on new territory, you've got to be comfortable with not knowing how everything is going to fall in place.
Ooh,
You
Jesus.
know, who is going to help me? How am I going to get this? It's something new. It's new. And so when you're rocking with the new, sometimes you don't know what's going to work, and you just got to start trusting in God and believing in God. Amber, were you going to say something? You had a thought? I was watching your facial expressions.
I'm just
No.
gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it for a little bit.
Hold it for a little bit. All right. Okay. Check this out. So, disobedience prevents us from breaking the bonds of misplaced loyalty. I'm going to read that line again. Okay. Disobedience, that's right there in the book. That's right there. Disobedience prevents us from breaking the bonds of misplaced loyalty.
Wow.
That's on page 65. So, some of us are loyal to people, to things, whatever that God has called us away from.
Ooh, that's
And
that
that is
trauma.
that's that trauma bond. And
Mhm.
so we are technically being disobedient because we feel my loyalty is to this person, to this thing, whatever it might be. Instead, God is saying, I'm trying to release you from that. But yet you still want to hold on to it. You still want to. That's misplaced loyalty. So have you ever remained in a situation God called you out of because of misplaced loyalty?
Ooh.
Have y'all ever?
I'm gonna let
Have you
somebody
ever?
else speak. I'm not. I'm gonna hold up my book.
No, you ain't got to.
And I'm gonna drink some tea.
Lisa,
Yeah.
Let me let me let me take a sip of water.
this big old jug. Listen now,
A little
I
bit my
know
gallon in it.
I have, again, it was hard for me using that same situation. It was hard for me to break away because I wanted to be loyal to people instead of purpose. And so that is very, very difficult because you love people and you want to keep that relationship with them. And sometimes it is very difficult to leave. Many of us have stayed at jobs where God has called us away to do something else, and we are just so tied down to this institution that we are afraid to leave. Here's the thing, this is one thing I'm wondering. Does this reveal anything about our trust in God?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. How?
Do we really trust him?
If
It's
we're holding on to the old things, that means we're not trusting that God really gave us this new thing. We're doubting.
We're doubting him. Like I love that, and I should have had it up here. That little picture that's all over social media about like that image of Jesus Christ holding this big old bear behind his back, and the little girl has a
oh
small
yeah.
bear, and he's like, "No, give it to me," and she's like, "No, but I love this one." And he's just like, "I know you do, but please just trust me, give it to me." And many of us hold on to that little old bear, and I just had this.
Mhm.
The Lord reminded me of this last week. You're holding on to this little old bear human, and I've got great things right here for you. If you would just trust me, you're trying to be loyal to this little bear because you've had it for so long, you love it so much. But I'm telling you, I got something bigger and better for you. But I'm not gonna show you. I want to know that you trust me. Give it to me. And many of us, we have not given God the little things.
Mm.
And he's trying to give us the big things. But because we lack trust in God, it is hard for us to release certain things, certain people, whatever devotions that we have. It's hard to for us to release it.
Very true.
Somebody go ahead.
And
Anybody?
also,
Amber?
Pastor B, yes, the root is trust, maybe unbelief, but the immediate issue could be it's like somebody cutting you down your chest with a knife. That's why we call it trauma bonds, because it's an attachment that the abusee has to the abuser. So when you think about somebody ripping you apart from something that you are so attached to or that you want, it's easy to say, okay, God, I'm going to do it. But the day to day being ripped away from that thing is just taking you out in your flesh. So, yes, I trust God, but the pain that I'm going to have to go through to get
Mm,
on the other side
mm.
sometimes prevents us from saying, forget it. We want to, but oh
Wow.
God, the
How do I get over
tears
that
and the,
pain then?
oh,
How do I
you,
get over
some
that
things you
pain?
just have to walk, some things you just have to walk through. So for example, your line says disobedience prevents us from breaking the bonds of misplaced loyalty. So it got me thinking, why do I have misplaced loyalty to begin with? So
Oh,
either
that's good.
am I sleeping with a man before I'm married? Well, I already knew before I got into that was not what I was supposed to do. So that's going to cause a ripping. Or am I in a church where the pastor thinks that I should worship him and not God? So then I already knew that I
Yeah.
should have been worshiping God. So
Yeah.
that, why do I have the misplaced
Right.
loyalty? Because at my church, my pastor would tell you, no, 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 this ain't
Yeah.
me, this
Yeah.
God. You can't look to
Right.
me. So I
Right.
already know. So if I went to him and said, hey, I believe that God called me to do something greater, he's gonna bless me and say, okay. So it
Yeah.
might not be as hard because
Right.
the loyalty there in PBC is not misplaced. So we got to
Mm.
think about, why do I have misplaced loyalty to begin with? And you better know it's going to be a tearing and a ripping of your flesh.
And I
Ouch.
wonder again, like you were saying, if we are placing people over God, because that's
Mm.
where it's always people and things over God. That's where,
Yes.
and it's so easy to do that because we can see people, we can see things, but we cannot. That's what we say. We cannot see God, and so I can't trust the things I can see. I'm gonna be honest, because it's very everything that I see is not what it is.
Mm.
So that's major. That's how we misplace our loyalty.
And I think
So
not even
yeah,
just not trusting people, we have more faith in ourselves. We think we got it.
yeah,
We prove ourselves like, Lord, I know I asked you to do it, but I got it. And
yeah. I'm managing this.
I
I'm
mean,
managing it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know when to stop this.
right.
I know when I had
I
enough.
know
That
how
is just
far to
like,
go.
yeah. And just thinking about what God would say. Are you serious? like, I know the plans and I know what's about to happen. Are you serious? Okay.
Remember when you
Okay.
say that you knew I knew the plans that I had for you? You forgot about that,
You
Lord. I
forgot about
knew.
that whole. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Much of a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about tonight deals with timing.
Mm.
Okay. And I hear it all the time. It's preached to us all the time. Timing is so important. Ecclesiastes 3, it talks about in every season, there's a time for everything that we are doing, right? So God's timing is sure and intentional. Like we know that for a fact. He desires us to seize the opportunity to attain that which He has prepared for us in the season for which He has presented it to us. So sometimes it's just like spoiled milk. You have a date, a range that this milk is good. This is when it's supposed to be, ingested, you're supposed to partake in this time. And if you decide, I don't want to do that. I want to just let it sit in there, it will eventually spoil. Another example is when the Lord fed the manna. He said, listen, you got to eat this today because tomorrow it's not going to be good. I'm going to allow it to be spoiled. Now, don't go grabbing all of this stuff and collecting all of it because you're going to store it and you want to keep some for later because that also shows you don't trust me. You don't trust that I'm going to provide tomorrow like I said I was. So I'm telling you, the timing to eat is now. Don't sit around and wait and say, "Oh, I got I'm kind of full from yesterday, so I won't eat today." The Lord told them, "Eat this manna every single day. This is what I want you to eat every single day." And here's another reason, because if you're eating today, I mean, if you're not eating today, I might dry that thing up tomorrow and you won't have any food. You need to follow my instructions. Timing is everything. It will spoil. You cannot save it. You've got to eat it right now. So don't wait. Think about salvation. People say, I got time. I
Mhm.
got time to give my life to Christ. Well, there's a dispensation of grace. So after that dispensation is done, here comes judgment. You had your time. So timing is essential to God. And so we've got to learn how to seize the opportunity to attain that which He has prepared for us in the season which He has presented to us. So, like the children of Israel, they had manna for a season. When they got to the promised land, there was no need for manna. So He would not give them manna anymore. Now you got to actually live off the fruit of the land. And so that's what it's all about, timing. And are we seizing the opportunity God has provided for us? Anybody have any comments before I move forward about timing? So looking at seizing the opportunity real quick, if we look at Luke 5:17 through 19, and that's I believe I have it in the book as well on page 68. I just want to read this very quickly. It says one day while Jesus was teaching, some Pharisees and teachers of religious law were sitting nearby. It seemed that these men showed up from the village in all Galilee and Judea, as well as from Jerusalem. And the Lord's healing power was strongly with Jesus. That's big. And the Lord's healing power was strongly with Jesus. Some men carrying a paralyzed man on a sleeping mat. Some men came carrying a paralyzed man on a sleeping mat. They tried to take him inside to see Jesus, but they couldn't reach him because of the crowd. So they went up to the roof and took off some towels. Then they lowered the sick man on his mat down into the ground right in front of Jesus. Here is the thing I want to talk about: seizing the opportunity. The power of the Lord to heal was present with Jesus. That's the opportunity. So there were men, of course, Jesus carried the power to heal, right? But that environment was conducive, meaning people were believing. Also, there were Pharisees and Sadducees there that did not believe Jesus was the Son of God. And so it was a perfect opportunity for God to use Jesus in a mighty way to display His power to heal this paralyzed man. So because I had doubters and naysayers there, and I also had believers that truly were willing to go through whatever they could go through to get to Jesus, the power of God to heal was present with Jesus. So what did these friends do? These friends said, hold up, let me seize this opportunity. Hey, we got a homeboy that can't walk. And look, we tired of carrying him. We tired of him feeling sorry for himself. Look, bro, we finna make sure you get to Jesus. Why? Because the power of God is present to heal. I'm gonna make sure you get there. And so what they did, picked up his mat. And they all took them, tried to get through the crowd. Oh, snap, we can't get through the crowd. But guess what? We're going to take him through the roof. We're going to take the whole roof off and lower him down. They got real creative. Listen, when the power of God is present, that is your opportunity to do what he is telling you to do because you can't lose. You can't
Can't
lose.
lose.
You can't lose.
Can't
That is like the best possible way to really flourish in life is when you recognize when God's spirit reveals to you that his power is there to change the whole situation around. You like, oh,
lose.
oh snap, let me go ahead and start doing what he's called me to do because it's about to happen. You got to jump on the opportunity. So tell me, how do you know when these opportunities exist? That's where it's at. How do you know when these opportunities exist? And we got Alexis Lowe blowing up this chat. This girl is on here. Alexis, we love you. Thank you. She is in this chat listening. How do you know these opportunities exist in your life?
For me, currently something that I'm dealing with, I think the fear went away from me. So when the fear went away and courage came, I thought, okay, now it's time for this journey. That lets me know. I always try to tell uh, Gene that we need to be ready because when God opens the door, we got to be ready to walk through. So
Mm.
for me, when the fear left and that courage came to, hey, get up and do what you need to do, then I'm like, okay, I got it, I got it, I got it, I got it.
Mm.
God was revealing this is the time. So hey, now you got to do what you need to do. So I'm like, okay, God.
And what if you would have stalled and just said, I'll try next season?
I know, right?
You would have missed the whole opportunity,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I've realized too sometimes when there is a need, all of a sudden there's a need. And you're like, wait a minute. Then you get this idea of how to fill that need. Then you get connected to somebody else that
The solution.
mentions the need or has some kind of resources. That's when you need to start saying, oh, snap. Oh, God is doing it. This is the time now. Oh, this is the season now. Okay, let me jump on it. See, I'm dealing with something like that in my personal life. Like, I'm starting to see so many things coming together and so many people saying the same things. And I'm starting to see a need. And I'm like, oh, if there's a need, God is about to fill something. He's going to use me to do it because I'm connected to it. Uh-oh. And then you start seeing a changing, sometimes a changing of the guard. There's some kind of shifting that starts occurring. That's when you know these friends here, they probably didn't even know spiritually what was happening, if we're going to be honest, but they saw a need. Our friend can't walk. He's always dependent on somebody. That's not how you're supposed to live your life. Okay. So number one, I'm sorry, we gonna have to do something. Then they heard, oh Jesus, you know the man they keep saying keep healing the people and raising the dead. That man is in town. What if? Okay, it starts with the what if. What if we picked up? I'm gonna call him Lucas. Picked up Leroy Lucas. What if we picked him up and we took him over there? Then somebody probably said, "Oh, but it's gonna be a lot of people." Well, let's just see. Let's just take him. And Lucas probably was like, "No, I don't want to go. I'm fine right here. Things have been okay." And they're like, "Bump that, Lucas. Listen, this man, we don't even know when he's gonna come back to this town. So why not try? I mean, you already laying here. You ain't doing nothing. First of all, Lucas, you gonna fight us? You paralyzed. You gonna how you gonna resist us, Lucas? So we're gonna go ahead and take you anyway. And so they decided because Jesus was in town, this is my opportunity. That's the same thing for us. We've got to start looking at how God has shifted some things and he starts opening some doors and giving you favor here and connection here and connect and all of it and idea after idea. I told my pastor the other day, I said, he just keep downloading things. And sometimes I'd be like, okay, Lord, that's enough. He just keep downloading. But that means I need to seize the opportunity because where I was having a brain freeze and nothing was coming to me, in this
Now,
season, he's downloading so much. That's how I know there's an opportunity I need to jump on. Somebody else want to add anything?
I agree with the downloads because sometimes I can just kind of, I'm praying and asking God, and then just all of a sudden, I could be in the car and he'll hit me with it. I'm trying to grab something to write or do whatever. I definitely agree with the downloads. He's when he's putting something in there,
Mhm.
um, in there, that he's shifting some things.
Yeah. And it's gonna be the perfect opportunity for you
Mhm,
to
mhm.
go and do it. um with when I mentioned the people that were there, so you have Pharisees and Sadducees there. All of them don't believe that Jesus is who he says he is, right? So this again is the perfect opportunity for God to show himself, right, through Jesus, right? So I was reminded in the book I talk about God preparing a table before us in the presence of our enemies. And so this is a question that I want to ask you all. Has God ever prepared a table before you in the presence of his enemy? Right? We don't really have an enemy. We're Satan hates God right now. This is a battle between him two. We're just kind of caught in the middle because we're God's people. But has he ever prepared a table before you in the presence of his enemy to demonstrate his glory? And if
Yes.
he has, give us an example. When has he done this? Because he has embarrassed Satan many times on my behalf. Like, no, let me really show you. Let me really show you. Anybody got anything to share about that? How he has prepared a table before you? Have you seen him do it?
Come on, y'all, share.
So I'll share that one that I can vividly think relates to this. So when we talk about the enemy, I am referring to it as the people who Satan chooses to use in that moment, because we know, the fight is not fleshly. However, in my job, I had a lot of people who just set me up to fail. Come on, people. But anyway,
Hmm.
grown people do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I am just working for food that doesn't spoil, as the Bible says. I am in there doing what's best for kids, concerned about their growth, and then God just elevated. And so people looking around like, who? Scream, what? Like, no, I don't want her working with me. You can't be mad when I ain't got nothing to do with whatever God does. And my heart space was not like, it was just like, I'm just working for food that doesn't spoil. And whatever, the Lord plants my feet is where they're planted.
Yes. And I think we said it a couple weeks ago. I'm sorry. He favored me. He blessed me. I ain't had nothing to do with that. I'm sorry. Be mad at him.
You know what I tell the people? Argue with God, don't argue with me.
I'm sorry. I had a person that I respected for a long time, and this person was a supervisor to me. And then I stepped out there and did some things with this person professionally. And this person told me once my time with them had ended, "Oh, you'll never, ever be able to get senior leadership position. You won't ever be able to do that." And I allowed that thing to penetrate me. And I started thinking that, well, maybe they're right. Maybe that's maybe. And then God elevated me in front, and I got the very position this person said, "Oh, you'll never be able to get that. You would." Got it right in front of everybody. And I had to say, what? Nobody but God that did it. Like, yes, I may be in your eyesight unqualified, but God is telling me He's already fashioned me, equipped me for everything that He has prepared for me. So I'm sorry that you thought that, but you don't know the
Hmm.
plans that God has for my life. So, oops, I'm sorry. And all the people can do is just frown at you. Well, how she got that? Talk to God. I don't know. Talk to him. Don't worry about it. But let me keep doing my job. Let me just keep doing
Right.
it. So that's only one instance. I have many different instances. And here's how you got to respond. You got to stay humble. You got to stay
Amen.
humble.
No, that's the
You got
truth.
to just
Worst
you
against
it's hard because inside you like boom. See, but you can't do that, right? You can't do that. You just have to say, I praise the Lord. Praise the Lord, saints.
God is good.
God is good. I don't know. I'm very honest, but I mean, inside you just like God. You did that. You did that. You shut their mouth. You did that, right? But you never would say that.
Yes.
Of course, you never would say that.
No. No. Yeah.
No.
And I think that God is able to do this when our heart posture is in the
Yes.
appropriate space. So, like for me, I don't care about position. I just want to take care of my kids and I want to be purposeful. Wherever that is, I don't care what it is. And when your heart is in that space, then I just believe that God will elevate because you ain't trying to take no glory. You're trying to give it back to Him and
Right.
you're
Yeah,
trying to work for His purpose. And He wants us
definitely,
to do that anyway. So you
definitely,
can have the title. I'm good. I'm good.
Right.
definitely, definitely. But here's the thing: even not even being focused on a title, God will still
Yes.
give it to you, and you have to kind of honor and give him reverence for it, but you got to respect the title
Yes.
also.
Right.
So
Yes.
I always say when I finish my doctorate, because I am going to finish. I
I
told the
know
devil
that's
that
right.
today. I am going to. I've
You
come too
will
far.
finish.
I am going to finish. When I finish, they gonna have to call me doctor. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just be honest. They gonna have to call me doctor.
I love
No, yeah,
it.
yeah. No, listen. I do that with people that have studied, have done all of this. I'm call you. I'm gonna call you. What you listen? You work too hard. Yes. Amber
Mhm.
the educator, whatever you want me to call you, I'm gonna call you that. Minister Alexia, whatever. I'm gonna call you that. So when I get this doctorate, when God allows me to finish
I know
and
that's
knowing the
right.
work, I told my kids, you better call me Dr. Mommy. You don't just
I love
put
it. I love
mommy
it.
there. I need
Dr.
something in front of
Mommy.
the doctor. I'm gonna need the
Mhm.
doctor in front of it. But it's all because, like you said, I'm gonna give God all the praise, knowing that it was not me at all. Because Unity wanted to stop. Unity didn't want. Unity couldn't even think of these things, right? Like he is downloading so many things. You're like, how on earth did I write 3 chapters of a dissertation? God, how? It's him. So, like you said, when your heart posture is in a place where you know that I'm going to give all glory to you, God, he opens up that door. That's how you seize the opportunity, also. He's going to open up the door, and you got to be willing to run
You walk
clean
in
through
it.
it. Got to walk through it. My mama told me, and she's still telling me these things. Like last year when we bought our house, she said, Humany, listen. She was telling me like it was a secret. Humany, listen, you in that season of favor. I said, Mom, what you mean? You listen, listen. What God is doing with you buying this house and all of it and having the what you need to do all of it, you are in a season of faith. Listen, when stuff opens, you better run through it. So something else came my way. She said, ooh, 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 that's God. Run through it. Run. I said, Ma, you run through it. I said, okay, okay. Something else came down my way. Okay, run through it. I said, yes, ma'am. And so it was funny to hear her so excited about it, but that was real talk. Listen, run through it. When God is opening doors, ain't you tired of standing in the hallway? Go ahead, run through it. You may not know exactly where you're going or what's going to happen. We got to just go, just run through it. So that's just something my mom said that stuck with me. When that's time and when that season comes, you better seize the opportunity and run through it. We got the chat done woke up. Hey y'all, the
Yes,
chat
they
is
up.
all the way live now.
I think
And
somebody
so
said it earlier. Just knowing that our gifts always make room for us. I think that is something that these are the gifts that God has given us, and staying in that space of God made room. It's not
yeah,
me, it's Him.
no, no,
Mhm.
it's him. And he's about to do something great, not just for me. And that's what you want to tell people. Stay connected to me.
Right.
Cause it's gonna
He
be
on
an
my street.
overflow.
Right.
He coming down my street. That means you about to get it too. And
I know that's right.
listen, I'm gonna shout and rejoice with Aisha. When Aisha got your house, I was just as happy when she got her house. I am rejoicing with you. And then look, I got mine, and I'm trusting in God and believing different friends that are calling and asking. I'm trusting and believing that you're gonna get yours too. So we've got to seize the opportunity and rejoice. Your gifts and talents, God, that God has given you will make room. Listen, here's another point I want to touch on. I said go, but it also means to jump. Okay. Steve Harvey wrote a whole book about jumping. But in the book, it talks, I give this analogy about real life story about me learning how to double dutch. So just like double dutch, discerning the opportunity to jump is essential. So when we talked about this man, this paralyzed man, the man's partners in purpose jumped on the opportunity to get him the help he needed. You know, double dutch is all about a rhythm. And there's a rhythm with God as well. Okay, there are seasons and there's a rhythm. So when we figure out, it's time to jump, you can't just keep standing there saying, I'm afraid to
Looking.
jump in. I'm gonna get hit by the rope. The people turning the rope eventually gonna get real mad at you, and that's what they did to me. Will you just jump? So don't you have people in your life that do that to you now? Will you just do it? Stop talking about it. You've been talking about this thing for 10 years now. Either go to school or don't. Like jump, do something, stop talking about it, right? And so
Honey, if you could be in my house.
when God places that inside of you, that urge to jump, you need to just go ahead and go. Jump, leap, and understand that he's not going to make a fool out of you because you're trusting in him. Amber, I saw your face. What
Mm-mm.
you want to add? I thought you wanted to add
Nothing,
something.
Jesus. I'ma hold it.
You gonna hold it.
Hold it. Where you holding it till?
Now listen. Let's see if this makes her. Let's see if this makes her say something. So I talked about those friends. Those friends knew when it was time to jump, right? So those friends we're calling partners in purpose. These are individuals that have been anointed, prepared, and equipped to carry you from your last place to your blessed place.
Ooh.
So for this friend, right, his last place, he's paralyzed, he's crippled, things ain't going right for me, da 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 da, whatever. These friends have been anointed. They are literally assigned to you in that season. And God has prepared them and he has equipped them to carry you from that last season to your blessed place, that last place to your blessed place. And this is something that God revealed to me in my own life because I sometimes don't want to allow these partners in purpose to do what God has called them to do. But God revealed to me, Unity, you're not a burden to them. They are literally prepared because I have been equipped. I have been changing their heart. I've been pouring them, filling them up with resources and all of these different things, knowing that I needed you to come here to this point. So they're literally waiting for you and they're ready for you so that you can be a blessing to them and they can be a blessing to you. Because once they pour out to you, I'm about to fill them back up. And they're just waiting for you to come. So if you disobediently don't move, don't go, don't call, don't email, don't do anything, now you messing them up because they're supposed to be your partner in purpose. What do y'all think about that? The chat just got live again.
Yeah. I love the partner and purpose concept, and I like that you address that you're not a burden to these people. Because sometimes we're like, I don't want to tell people, what I got going on, but just keep it to myself. Amber, the educator, I'm gonna just hold it. And there are people who are waiting for you to share, and
She hit
because
it
they
with
are
it.
ready to meet you where you are.
Yeah, yeah,
God sends
yeah.
them. I think that is something that I have been in prayer about in this particular season. That, even when it comes to dating, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to professionalism or professional opportunities, send me partners in purpose who are going to share my heart for the things that God has called me to. And you can't just partner with anybody. You can't just have any kind of friend in your life. You can't have any kind of man. You can't have any kind of partner. You have purpose in understanding that everything that you do has a purpose. And praying that God sends you people who will be of like mind and like hearts.
Okay, so that's what I stay there because how do I know that they're a partner in purpose? Because there are some people that come in my life and attach themselves to me, and I think they're a partner in purpose, and then they end up not being one. How do I know that they're a partner in purpose?
I think you have to be in prayer about those things. Like there's confirmation that's going to come. They're not going to say anything that's contrary to the word of God and the word that God has given you. So if people are saying things that are opposite, that can't be your partner in purpose because it's not, your purpose doesn't align. They are going to push you into purpose, not pull you away from it.
Oh,
Oh, that's good
That's
right there.
that's good right there.
Yeah, I agree, Minister Alexia. But so another portion to that will be for me. I realize that I'm much more of a partner for others than others are a partner for me. And I'm totally okay with that. So, how I come to terms with who's a partner for me versus me just being a partner for them is what I get from them just naturally. Like if I'm sharing with you and you're sharing with me, and then I'm telling you, hey, do this, I can help with this. And then you never say, oh, well, how about this for you? I'm not upset about that because I know I was called to be a blessing. But when people do that for me, then I say, okay, so we can connect and make some moves together versus me just helping you make your own moves. And I'm okay with either.
That's good too. I think some of that does come with, again, partner purpose. God is going to show that person, hey, you need to connect with this person, and you need to ask them what you can do for them, how you can help them. I think God definitely is going to show you those people that can do that. But we've got to also be careful that if they don't speak a language that I think they should speak, maybe they're still saying the same thing, but they're saying it or doing it in a different way. So I think we also have to be careful with the and delicate with these partners in purpose, because they still may be equipped to help me, but maybe they don't really understand it, they don't really know, or they're not confident enough to articulate that, but they're there. There are people in our lives that you're like, why are they always just around? And they themselves don't know why they're drawn to you, but they
Mhm.
know they are drawn to you for a reason. And they may not be able to articulate it or even say, hey, because I got some people that will say, hey, I need you, I want to help you with this, I want to. And then I have some people that don't, but they just always around, and you're just like, okay, well, what is it? But I got to start looking. Okay, wait, God, did you connect me with this person for a reason? And maybe they just need clarity as to why they are drawn to what I've got going on. And so now let me try to help them, because that's my personality. Let me try to see how they can work. And then you'll find out, oh, they do want to work. They do. They just don't know how to articulate that. So that is something for us also to just pray. It's all about prayer.
Mm-hmm.
God, who are the people in my life? That's it. Who are the people in my life that you have connected me to in this season? Ashley just said, are they a partner or a leech? Are they only trying to suck me dry and get something from me? Or God, have they been pouring into me in whatever way that they can? Have they been encouraging me? Have they, who are those people? And then how do I work with those people? How do I move forward? That's something I'm asking God too. God, how do I move forward with these people? How can I be a better partner in purpose? How can I? So these are some questions that we can all kind of reflect on. But I do believe God has anointed, prepared, and equipped people to help carry us from one place to the next in certain seasons of our life. And then we become those people as well. We help them and we wonder, oh, this is how God continues to bless us. Um, so that's something that I ask. Talay said you got to ask for discernment. You definitely got to ask for discernment. Lord, who are these people? What test the spirit? What spirit are they coming with? Okay.
Spirit by
And
the
and
spirit.
who and just keep talking to God. That's through prayer. Just keep talking to God and asking God.
One thing that I heard a pastor say a few years ago, she was like, there are three kinds of relationships, and we were talking about friendships. And you have people that you reach up to, you have people you reach out to, and you have people you reach back to help. And so sometimes we have all three of those things, and sometimes we're giving, and sometimes we're getting, and sometimes we're just supporting each other. Um, and I think we have to know what kinds of relationships are what,
Mm,
and they're not
mm,
always that this person is older than us, that we can't get anything from them. If they're younger than us, we can't get anything from them. So I think that's another layer to this, just kind of knowing what the connection is, what is meant to be, because sometimes people are just called to pour into you, that, and especially if you are somebody who is a giver, you feel like, well, I'm always pouring out, nobody's pouring into me, and God sends you those people as well.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I like that. I like that. Um, Here's a quote right out of the book. The obedience of your partners in purpose is an exhibition of their new measure of faith, a display of their growth in Christ, and evidence of their ability to hear, understand, and trust God's voice. So again, that's where God has purposed them at this season of their lives, where they are showing their new measure of faith. You know, that I have heard from Christ, that I am growing in the Lord, and I can be this kind of friend to this person. I can hold this person accountable now. And I have heard, I trust God, and I understand God. So it's really about their obedience also, and so if God is calling you to be a partner in purpose, are you being obedient to what he's called you to do? Are you growing spiritually? That's what I've noticed. Oh, I'm growing spiritually. I can hear God say, I need to call this person, I need to connect with this person. I just had a great connection last week with this person and just allowed them to pour into me stuff that I did not even know I needed to know. And I just soaked it all up. And then that person didn't need me to pour into them at that time. It was for me to be filled. And so the next time I go somewhere else, so now I can use that and pour into somebody else's bucket. So I see what you're saying, Alexia. That's it's seasonal too sometimes, right?
Mhm.
Especially when you have mentee and mentor relationships. I notice that sometimes that happens as well. So it's all about their obedience too. Um, let's kind of switch gears a little bit. So in the book, it talks about preventative care, God's preventative care. It's all with timing and being obedient to God. And so it talks about how God will allow us to take a longer route to get to a destination because he knows the durability of our faith. So the quote says, God is aware of the durability of our faith. He may not lead you to a specific place at a specific time because he knows your faith is fragile. So an example would be the children of Israel. He took them about the roundabout way because he knew they weren't ready to fight the enemies that were right in front of them. So instead, I got to peel off some layers and I got to take you all the way around. It's supposed to be 40 days, but because of your disobedience, it became longer. But I'm still taking you the roundabout way because your faith is too fragile. You'll think I set you up. If I just allow you to go the straight path and get there faster, you're going to think I set you up because you weren't ready to fight. So, because I know your faith is fragile, because I know you're not ready for certain things, I do have to allow you to take that roundabout way. And so, this is something that I want to talk about, the durability of our faith. How strong is your faith? And are you ready now for God to drop this major large thing in your lap right now? Whatever that thing is, do you think you're strong enough right now to carry what? And you may say yes. You may say, I'm at a point in my life, I still believe I'm going to seize this opportunity. Or you may say, I don't know if I can handle that right now, God. Because you may be like me in some seasons of my life. I'm like, if one more thing drops in my lap, I'm gonna lose it on somebody. But right now in my life, I'm like, okay, God, it's fine. You got that. I can handle that. How do you all feel? Is your faith durable right now? Is it strong? It can last. It can shake you, Alexia. She's like,
Um, I think for me, I do feel like my faith is a little, I've seen God do enough to trust that whatever he brings me to, he's going to bring me through it. Even if it looks bad right now, it is not the end. So I definitely think, 10 years ago, I would say, no, it was very shaky. Like, I don't know, God, what he gonna do. But at this place in my life, I don't worry about things, worry about people, worry about situations. Um, I have to keep reminding myself that God has the plan and his plan is good. And so even if this part doesn't look good, I know the end result is good, that he's going to get the victory at the end. And so, Lord, just help me hold on until you get the victory. That's
Mm.
where I am.
Help me hold on until you get the victory. That's good. Please help me hold on, because
I think it's about
we'll
a faith builder.
say it again.
I said, I think it's faith building.
Hmm.
When we think it's smooth sailing all the time, we get so in our way that we think we're doing it, and God just has to kind of shake us up sometimes. And then, in order for us to move from faith to faith,
Right.
um, it has to be that way.
Right.
Hmm.
And that just puts us back before God, to know that it is God. And He does it in a way that we didn't do it. That is, it's
Right.
God, and it builds our faith. It builds our faith for that next thing. I can say, God, I wanna be a millionaire. But am I ready for it tomorrow? If I'm not managing right today at a thousandaire, come on, what am I gonna do at a millionaire?
Well, Lord,
So,
just give it to me so I can see.
But test my faith, Lord. Test my faith. I know that's right, Lord. Just test me and see. I can be faithful, Lord. You're right. You're right. Bill, talking about what you just said, Noah. So we know the story of Noah. God asked Noah to build something he had never seen,
Mhm.
something he had never built before, so he could safeguard his family from a promise he had never yet experienced, which was rain. Because in that day, the only mist he knew came from the ground up. Okay. He never seen anything come from the sky down, which was rain. So God is asking him to build something to protect his family from something he's
Mhm.
never seen before experienced. So Noah was building in bewilderment, but he was building in faith. So I've never seen it, I've never experienced it, but yet God is asking me to build something durable in faith and confidence, being obedient to Him, that I have never experienced, never seen before. This is the question. I'm gonna throw this out here to all of you, because all of you are entrepreneurs. You have your own businesses. How are you building something to be very durable that many of you might not have experienced before? Meaning, your parents might not have walked in it. You might not have grown up, and this is a family business that you're now taking over. How are you able to build something durable that can withstand the test of time based on not even seeing it, not even knowing how this is going to end
Mm.
up?
Ooh, by faith for real. Because in my case, it hasn't been done on my side or my husband's side. So
Wow.
building up a business, just seeing it, seeing it manifest in our face, like it is by faith for sure. I'm talking about it is literally depending on God. Is His direction for
I
sure.
like what you just did, because that means faith by faith, step by step, meaning I'm not taking leaps. You're talking about like day by day, I'm building my faith muscles. Oh, God got me through that. Let's try it again. Oh, God got us through that. Oh, I hit a hurdle. Oh, but He got us through that. And so it's day by day building. All right.
Day by day, yes. I remember just kind of talking to one of my aunts one time before about it, and I was just like how would I know? I mean, just like how would I know? And she was like, Aisha, it's just one yes after the next. Just
Mm.
keep saying yes to God, and He will begin to reveal it to you over and over and over again. And I'm like, okay.
I like that you said one yes. That troubled me at first because you said one yes after yes. And I'm thinking one door opening after another door. But we know with entrepreneurship, sometimes it's a no,
Uh-huh.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
you said one yes to God.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
difference. I'm gonna say yes to God, even if man tells me no, and I'm gonna still say yes to God, and I'm gonna keep saying it until that door opens or God gives me another direction.
Correct.
For sure.
Amber, you're building a mental health business. Is that something that you grew up experiencing? Like you have a lot of
Mental health
experience
or
in
building a business?
mental
No,
health
no to
business?
neither. It's a no to neither. I do
Oh,
not. I did not grow up experiencing any of that. No. Um, And I agree, it is a very scary space to be in because I'm a single parent. I'm the breadwinner. So we're talking about walking into nothing and just
Mm,
believing that God is going to use me. So that's
mm.
pretty scary. Every day it is a, okay, God, and every day I'm asking God, what do you want? What do you want me to do? Is this really you? Do you want whatever you want? Is what I'm gonna
Mm,
do. And
mhm.
so it's a day by day. But I will say that I have prepared for this
Okay.
move, so I feel that I am ready. I'm just not saying, you know what, I'm gonna go be a fisherman. I'm out tomorrow, and then
Okay.
I go and get a boat on the sea. It's not that. I have
Yeah.
prepared. I have studied. There is a need. I can meet that need,
There's a
and
need.
so now I'm like, okay, God, is this where you, or how do you want me to use my gifts? And
Yeah.
then just believing that He's gonna. He called me to do this. I mean, you
Yeah.
called me to do this, so make it
You
happen.
got to
And I'm just
provide.
going to
You got
relinquish
to
it
provide.
every
Yeah.
day. I'm
You got to
relinquishing
provide,
this to
God.
you, God, and I'm going
Yeah.
to rely on you,
Yeah.
whatever that looks like. And I'm prepared to do that. Now, I'm
Yeah.
prepared to do that.
Alexia, you have seen seasons, right, of your business, and now you're on the uptick, right? How has it been throughout all of these years?
Um, I will say that first I never know what I'm doing in business, right? But God is so good and so intentional. Um, even in my inconsistency, even in me not I don't know that I posted on social media from my business page in a month or two or whatever. I don't post all the pictures from events. But God keeps my name in rooms that I never enter. I think I was telling y'all about this opportunity I got a couple of weeks ago. I didn't know this lady, but someone mentioned my name to her, and it ended up being the biggest thing for my business, the biggest um, contract that I've had in 7 years. Seven, that's a good number, right? Um,
Mhm.
in 7 years. And I had to end up, I lost a business partner in the very beginning of my business. And it was very hurtful, very traumatizing. I really thought that that was going to be the end of this business. And I got to a place this year where I had to call that person and I was able to hire him to work for me in my business. So, it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been, there's no one that I can call and be like, show me how to do this. But God keeps giving me resources, giving me opportunities. And it's not me. I can't say that, this came as a result of my marketing and, all of the things. It was based on the relationships, these partners in purpose, these people who
Mm,
say, you know, if I elevate, you're going to be elevated too.
mm,
Um, and I think for me and my business, that is what has helped me. Um, my friends who were helping me set up events, for free, and I couldn't pay them. I got a T-shirt for you. I might be able to feed you. Now I'm able to pay everybody that works for me, like a real
Come on, God.
like, okay, when I call you, they know I'm calling so they can make some money. And I love that. Like I want to be the lender and not the borrower. I want to be
hey,
employer
Hey, come on.
and not
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah,
I'm able, to do that for people. And when I call them, even with my vendor relationships, they know I'm calling about making them some money. It's never, can you do this for me for free? There was a season where I had to be like, will you help me? Will you do this? Whatever. Now it's like, what's your rate? Tell
yeah.
me, I'm gonna pay it. And that is really all God. It's definitely not me.
And for me, Pastor B, I want to be very clear about, because I'm transparent about my life and walk. So for me, when I say it's faith, really faith without works is dead. So I'm working my hiney off, like
Of course.
physically and mentally. I'm
Yeah.
advertising. I'm about to get church fans to put in church. If you hot, okay, I need you to know you need to call me for some mental health. And I'm also, when people tell me no, or when people don't call, I'm continually quoting the word. God, you said this. You
Yeah.
did this. It's real work every single day. I'm not just sitting there saying, Jesus, Jesus. I'm working.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Faith without works is definitely dead. That's dead. Right. Um, Here's the thing: God's timing and timing is perfect, and it is aligned to His will, His purpose, and His plan for His people and His creation. We already said that. We even talked about stepping out on faith. So don't allow the distractions of the deep sink your faith as you walk
Ooh,
obediently on water. I'm gonna say that again. Don't allow
yes.
the distractions of the deep sink your faith as you obediently walk on water. That's pricking me, and I'm reminding myself of that as you walk into the deep. Don't let these distractions, these no's or whatever, these naysayers, um, cause you to sink, cause your faith to sink. And so I want to close with this last thing, our healing heart. You know, that's something that we talk about in the book at the end of every chapter. And so I go into a childhood memory of Mother May I. And that's the purpose of the healing hearts, is to go back to the little girl and bring out a memory and then kind of transition it to a spiritual. So I talk about Mother May I, the little game that we used to play. And then Mother May I, you ask Mother, Mother, can I take a step forward? Mother, can I do this? And we don't move unless Mother says we can move. And if we move, we are out, right? I love to tell people, oh, I saw you move, you're out. And so we are careful to never move because Mother has not given us permission. So the question is, how much different would our lives be if we treated our Father like we do Mother?
Ooh.
So if Father didn't tell us to move, if Father didn't tell us to go, or if Father did say, take 5 steps forward, Aisha, and you like, no, but I don't really want to think, you're out, right? We
My
don't want, here's the quote, we don't want to be declared out of the will of God. So we must follow his leading in the midst of closed doors, open doors, or even hallways that force us to wait for his direction. So we don't want to be out of the will of God. And so we've got to remember and treat our Father, our Heavenly Father, like we do Mother in this game and ask Him, God, should I do this? Oh, I should. Let me take, God, can I take 5 steps forward? No, you may not. Oh, man, I can't take 5. All right, let me just be quiet. No more complaining. Let me just be quiet because He may be telling me to wait. Wait, I got to
Mhm.
clear this path first. Wait. Or he may say, take 10 steps forward. And while me and Aisha might be in the same game together, he might tell me to take 10 and Aisha might only be able to take one. And I don't need to look back at Aisha and say, I'm 10 steps forward, or vice versa. I don't even need to look at Aisha where she's at in the game. I
That's
just
right.
need to focus on Father. Father, how many
Mhm.
steps can I take forward? You don't want me to take a step yet? All right, I'll stay right here. So,
That's it
Father,
right
may
there.
I? Let's play that game. Let's learn to play that game. Listen,
Ooh,
we
that's
are
good.
so thankful for y'all joining us today. We love y'all. I love you in the chat. Y'all are always on it. I appreciate it. We only got one more week left. Next week is gonna be deep, y'all. It's on unforgiveness. Listen, I don't even know if I'm ready to hit that just yet, but it's on unforgiveness, being healed from it,
Pray
y'all.
about it.
Pray. We got to pray about it, get our hearts and minds ready. But I
Yes.
need you all to join me. Please like, share this post. Please, I promise it's going to bless somebody else on the replay. And so we thank you all for joining us. Ladies, you know I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Everybody in the chat, everybody that will watch on the replay, be
The
blessed.
chat was
And we
live
thank
today.
God. The chat was live today. I love y'all. God bless. Girl, hurt no more. Love y'all. Bye bye.
Good night.